What's going on, guys? jblader back again with another episode of Efficient Minecraft. We're on the Amplified world, and today we're going to be talking about some more of these Minecraft fundamentals, how to get started in an efficient way. So we've been talking about enchanting in the last few episodes, how to get XP. All this stuff is really crucial. We needed to get fortune, so we got that. We needed to get more levels. We got the fish farm up and going. I'm still trying to get that mending fishing rod, but I wanted to mention something that I didn't mention last time. One way that you can get to that mending fishing rod a little bit easier, a little bit quicker, is you can put Luck of the Sea enchant on your fishing rod, so you can actually do a level 30 enchant. So that's one way you can, one thing you can do. So right now I'm just going down and mining and getting 30 levels, coming back up, doing an enchant, and just repeating that. In my experience, that's the fastest way to do it. You can also go into the nether and just do a mining session until you get like 40 or 50 levels. But I went ahead and made a chest plate and enchanted that. I've been doing a little bit of strip mining, but I want to show you something cool that you could make, even though that this isn't probably one of the most efficient things ever. You can make something called an Armorstand, which is a cool way to store or display your armor. So rather than like putting it in a chest, you can display it out in the open. And so that's what I'm going to do for my backup gear. And to do that, we're going to need some smooth stone. So let's go ahead and turn these into slabs using a stone cutter here, and then we're going to be able to craft an armor stand like this. So if we just right click this, then it'll be on there. So that's kind of nice, right? And then I noticed this guy out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, man, we gotta talk about these guys. So this is a wandering trader. They spawn at random on almost any block, any solid block. They usually spawn in loaded chunks near a player. And then they have a huge variety of trades. You can see this guy here has white tulip, slime ball, poppies. They usually have a ice type of trade. They can have a bucket of tropical fish. They can have flowers, mob drops, dyes, just about anything, right? But they always are going to be trading emeralds for these things. And we don't have emeralds yet, but we're going to be able to farm emeralds later in the game. Also, they despawn after, I think it's 40 minutes. It's kind of random, but around 40 minutes they despawn. There's ways to make them not despawn by sending them through portals. Kind of resets the timer, but it's usually not worth it, just because wandering traders, usually their trades aren't honestly that great. There's a lot better ways to get all those items, but sometimes early on they could have something that's kind of interesting, so that's just something to keep in mind. But we're not going to be doing a lot with the wandering trader. Of course, you could kill the wandering trader if you wanted to and take his llamas. Man, he's speeding around. But the llamas aren't really good for anything, so we're going to let them go. So yeah, that's a little bit of wandering traders. So I've just been smelting items to get XP, mining, and repeating that. So let me go down here and show you a little bit of what I've been doing while I've been mining. So as you guys know, there's a slime chunk here, right? This is the actual slime chunk. I was able to use F3 and G. If you hit them both at the same time, it'll open up, and anything within this bounding box is the chunk. And so in this chunk, slimes can spawn. So I've been mining this out. The main reason is slime balls are a great way to make redstone contraptions. You need slime balls for slime blocks, which are a redstoner's best friend, and sticky pistons. So creating a slime farm is going to be one of those things that is like top priority, because it gets us that slime, and slime gets us automated redstone stuff, which is always great. So that's kind of what we are aiming for right now. So I'm going to be mining this out in between clips, and I'm just trying to get back to those 30 levels so that I can get that mending fishing rod. And then I'm going to be doing a night AFK session, and hopefully we'll be able to get some good stuff during that night AFK session. But this is that part of that game that's kind of grindier. You just need to do some mining, do some resource gathering, get some levels. There's no super free way to do it. If you're playing on a server or in a world that already has an XP farm, I recommend at this point, if you're like me, ask if someone has an XP farm and go and borrow their XP farm. Sometimes they'll have an Enderman farm or a cactus farm, or maybe they have a standard dungeon farm. And even though all those aren't the fastest sometimes, they can be a great way to get some early experience. So I'm going to be doing some strip mining here. You can see I've got some strip mines. And mining this stuff out. And I'll come back once I get a good fishing rod, and we're going to do a night AFK session. So let's get a lot of progress done. Alrighty guys, you can probably tell it's a new day, new shirt. It's time to talk about some of the stuff that I managed to do over the AFK session. So I AFK'd for roughly, I would say like 10 hours. Okay, I AFK fished here for 10 hours. And I've already sorted through some of these items, but we're going to talk about some of the items that we got during that session. So we get tropical fish, which are not useful for anything. I don't even think you can actually even eat tropical fish, so it's purely decorative. Rotten flesh, you can technically trade with villagers, but it's very inefficient, so we're just going to chuck those. Leather boots, just going to chuck those. Water bottles are actually, each one is basically a piece of glass, so you can keep these if you want, and it could save you some glass down the line once you start brewing potions. The reason I wouldn't keep them is that they don't stack, so it's really hard to keep water bottles, but just keep that in mind. Bowls, unless you live on a mushroom island, not going to keep them. So what we're left with in this chest here is bows and fishing rods, okay? Same thing here. We also have a saddle, and let's talk about some of the other items that I managed to get. So in this chest is all the food I was able to get from that 12-hour AFK session. Raw salmon is actually super good because cooked salmon has a very high saturation rate for this type of food, so it's actually pretty good. Fish itself is fine, and yet again, tropical fish doesn't have a purpose, but puffer fish we use for enchanting water breathing potions, so that can be useful, even though we probably will never use more than three or four the entire time we play on here. So we got, what, almost 5 stacks, so we're good to go, right? In this chest we have enchanted books, and for the rest of this episode I'm going to focus purely on enchanting, and once we finish talking about some of the AFK fishing stuff, so we're going to come back to this shortly. Then of course you get saddles, which are good for riding horses, although horses aren't that great, but if you like, some people just like taming horses and breeding them and trying to get a good one, and they aren't a bad way to travel across land. It's just ice boats are way faster in the nether, and going through the nether is faster than going through the overworld. Even a minecart and track can be faster, so just keep that in mind, but they can be fun to fool around with. Name tags are great because we're going to be using these to name mobs in the future, and you can even use those on your animals if you'd like. Lily pads aren't super great, but we can use them. Since you can waterlog blocks now, they're not that great, but they're more decorative. String is a great block to have. Bones are completely fine. Leather, of course, is good. Nautilus shells are a rare drop, so they're great to have, and we use those to make conduits, even though we're not going to be doing that for a while. Conduits allow you to breathe underwater, by the way. And then tripwire hooks are for redstone. Since trap chests aren't really needed anymore for sorter systems, tripwire hooks aren't super useful, but you don't have to waste iron crafting them. Ink sacks are just a dye. And then, of course, we have bows here again, and sticks. So these are some of the drops that you can get from this type of AFK fish farm. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the fishing rods and bows. So here's an example of a fishing rod that you can get that's basically perfect. I got this one. It's Lure 3, Mending, and Luck of the Sea 3. The only thing it needs is Unbreaking. And it technically doesn't need Unbreaking because you have Mending on it, so it's never going to break. So this is ideally like the perfect fishing rod you really need. And then this is the one I was using, and I was able to get this by fishing with a normal fishing rod for about an hour, and then I was able to get enough of these kind of random fishing rods. I was able to put one together that had the enchants that we needed. So that's how you get good fishing rods. And then here's an example of 2 bows that are really good. So we have Power 4 Flame, Infinity, and Unbreaking. This is what I would want like on the ideal bow. So let's see how many levels it's going to cost to combine these items. To combine items, use an anvil, and an anvil is 3 iron blocks and 4 ingots. So I had enough iron to make an anvil. I went ahead and made an anvil, so we have a new anvil here, and let's see how many levels it's going to take. Now, you can rename your item, and it increases the cost by one level. you might also want to try swapping back and forth these items. It basically measures different items at different cost values or different enchants. So flame, since flame 1 is the highest flame you can have, it's more expensive than let's say Unbreaking 1. And the reason is Unbreaking 1 would cost like 1 value on a chart, and Flame, since it's a max, would cost 4 or 5, the same as Power 4 or 5. So in this case, it's cheaper to have a tier 3 and a tier in a finished tier instead of having the tier 4 in a finished tier. So it's cheaper to do it that way. Enchanting is kind of complicated, and I don't know the ins and outs of combining items myself, but I know that usually you can swap back and forth and get the cheapest option, and that's what you're going to want to be doing. However, I'm going to save my levels for right now, and we're going to come back and combine those at a later date. So let's go ahead and talk about some enchanted books. With fish farming, you can get a wide variety of books, and here's some of the examples you would get. We get Sharpness, Impaling, Aqua Infinity, Multi-Shot, Sweeping Edge, Bane of Arthropods. We can get a little bit of anything, but there are a few things that you really want to look for. This is a really good book right here. It has Protection 4 and Depth Strider 3. Both of these can go instantly on a set of boots, and it makes them extremely great, so that's awesome. Aqua Infinity is for a helmet. It allows you to like mine underwater. Then we have Respiration, which allows you to breathe longer underwater. And then this is the holy grail of books. It is Mending Power 4. Although Power 4 isn't that useful because we have so many bows, Mending allows you to repair an item by using XP. So I only really need 1 or 2 pickaxes in the world at all times, and I can just go recharge it at an XP farm. This is also a really good book because it's Unbreaking and Looting 2. Although we are looking for Looting 3, Looting 2 is not bad whatsoever. And then Feather Falling is a very rare enchant to get in 1.14, so getting a Feather Falling book is amazing. And then an Unbreaking Efficiency 4 book is also really great. So these are some of the books that you're going to want to set aside because you're going to be using those in your first real enchanting session. And if you look, I have 72 levels, so we're going to go do an enchanting session right now. So now that I've talked a little bit about enchanting and about, enchants and combining all this stuff, hopefully that's useful. It can be a lot of just trial and error until you're able to get the items that you want to get, but we're going to talk a little bit now about prioritizing what items you want to get. I've already enchanted some of my crucial items here, like we have Fire Protection 3 and Protection 3, so those aren't ideal, but they're not a bad start. And then we're going to want to make some of this other stuff today. So let's go ahead and take our diamonds. And let's go ahead and make a helmet. And we already have the boots. So I think we're good there. Okay? I'm going to make one more pick just because I like enchanting pickaxes because they are always useful. You're always going to want to have a pick on you that's good. And I would not mind getting a Silk Touch pick whatsoever. So we're going to shoot for that. So now that we have a bunch of levels, we can just sit here and do a lot of enchants back to back. So looky there, looting 3 on the diamond sword. That's exactly what we want. Let's go ahead and see what these boots are. Protection 3. Okay, so yeah, let's do looting 3. We got Sharpness 3, Unbreaking 3, Knockback 2, looting 3. That is amazing. The only thing I would want on that is Sharpness 5 or higher sharpness and maybe Fire Aspect. Besides that, it's basically a perfect sword, so I will take that. And let's go ahead and see what our other things are. Protection 3, Unbreaking 3, Unbreaking 3, and then this one will be Unbreaking 3 as well. And then let's try the helmet is Unbreaking 3. So I'm going to go ahead and do the Unbreaking 3 on the helmet. And we get Fire Protection 3, Unbreaking 3. That's okay. And I'll talk a little bit more about protection soon. So let's go ahead and we're just going to kind of hop around now and try some different enchants. So as you see here, I don't have any good enchants on my items, so I'm just going to go ahead and do a dud enchant. Basically, I'm just going to enchant the sword. I know it's almost broken, but I'm just going to do a level 1. That way it resets all of my other trades. So we got Efficiency 4 there, Unbreaking 3. I'm going to do that Unbreaking 3. So Protection 3, Unbreaking 3. That's not bad. Efficiency 4, Unbreaking 3. Efficiency 3, Unbreaking 3. And then just Unbreaking 3. So we still have 50 levels. That's a good amount of levels. We could do some more enchanting, which is what I'm going to do first. But we can also go ahead and combine some of these books with our tools and with our gear and get some really good gear as well. And I want to say, if you're not into the whole fish farming thing, like if you're not interested in AFKing or it's not allowed on your server, do not worry. There are other ways to get really OP gear pretty easily without doing fish farming. There are ways to get levels, and we're going to talk about that because I know that a lot of people don't like doing the AFK fish farming thing, but in a series called Efficient Minecraft, I had to include fish farming simply because it is that efficient. It's so good. For the amount of time you put in for AFKing, it is insanely good. So another efficiency 3, we'll just go ahead and do that. And then this one is a fortune 2, so I'm just going to go ahead and pass on enchanting for now, and we will come back to that stuff later. So let's go take a look at our books and see what we can combine here. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is put this mending book on my fortune pickaxe. The reason is that when you're mining stuff with fortune, it's going to be repairing your pick, so super valuable there. So let's go ahead and put it here. And then we're also going to want to put efficiency 4 on this as well. Okay, so I'm going to be waiting for, or I'm going to be looking for an efficiency 4 book, and we'll keep our eye out for that. Here's an efficiency 4 book. It's also protection 3, both of which are good. So efficiency 5 is the highest level of efficiency. However, you only need it if you have a beacon. Otherwise, just stick with efficiency 4. Protection 4 is the highest protection, and that is ideal. Fire protection 3 is also the highest protection, fire protection, and that is ideal. You do not want to get protection on all of your gear, and I know, because I know at least in the past, you basically max out on the amount of protection that you get. So you want to stagger. You want to have 2 protections and then 2 other protections of your choice. I like fire protection because I'm clumsy, and if you fall into lava or if you're on fire, it can really save you in a pinch. So that's a good thing to do. So let's go ahead and grab some of these other books. We're going to want our Feather Falling book, and then we're going to go ahead and grab our Aqua Infinity book, and let's grab our Depth Strider and our Respiration. So let's go ahead and make a basically perfect set of armor here. We have on our helmet, we're going to put Aqua Infinity, only 2 levels, and we're going to put Respiration 3. So now our helmet, it has Fire Protection 3, but beyond that, it is perfect. So perfect helmet, let's go. Fire Protection 3, we're not going to touch any of this stuff right now. Let's go ahead and do the boots. We're going to want Depth Strider, and we're going to want Feather Falling. So Protection 4, this is a perfect set of boots. All we need is like Mending on that, and then I'll want a Protection 3 book and a Fire Protection 3 book. So let me check real quick and see if I have one of those. Alright, I got some more books here, and we're going to try combining some of this other stuff here. So I got a Protection 3 book here. I think I have another one as well. Yeah, let's try this one. Okay, we're going to do this one because the enchants are better off like that. So now our gear is almost perfect. We don't have Protection 3 or 4 on this stuff yet, but it's fine. So we got that stuff done. You can see there we have armor, toughness, and armor, and all that stuff is very important. So next up, let's talk about some of our tools. The diamond sword, I would like sharpness 4 on it, so let's go ahead and put sharpness 4 by combining 2 3s. So to get something like sharpness 4, you combine 2 sharpness 3s. There we go. And then I have an efficiency on breaking, so now we have a perfect diamond axe, efficiency 4 and breaking 3. That's what you want on an axe. And then on a shovel, you can have same thing of efficiency 4 and unbreaking. So we'll do something. We'll come back to the shovel actually. Let's get that mending pickaxe that we had, because that's the one we're going to want to put efficiency 4 on. Like this. There we go. And then we can put, let's see. For now, I think I'm just going to put efficiency 3, and just like that, I'm out of levels. But we have 2 perfect axes now. So let me organize all my items, and we'll finish talking about enchanting. Alrighty, so I wanted to say I covered a lot of information there. If you got lost, do not worry. I'm going to go over it very quickly again, but remember there's also a wiki, and just feel free to experiment around. But I will say these 2 enchants are not that great. Thorns, you put it on your armor, and if you get hit by a mob or another player, it does damage to them as well. However, it does do more damage to your actual armor over time. It breaks the durability more, so I prefer not to have Thorns. I find it's usually not worth it. And then Frostwalker is an enchantment for your boots that allows you to walk on top of water by turning it into ice. The ice does not melt at night, but it does during the day, and I find it is super slow compared to Depth Strider, so I do not use that whatsoever. So we're going to be just putting those away in there. So the perfect diamond shovel, in my opinion, is Silk Touch, Unbreaking 3, Efficiency 4. The perfect diamond axe, in my opinion, is Efficiency 4, Unbreaking 3, and then you could throw Smite or Sharpness on it if you wanted, and you could also throw Silk Touch or Fortune on it if you wanted, but not at all necessary. A great pick, of course, is Fortune 3, Unbreaking 3, Efficiency 4, or 5, and then, or could have Silk Touch instead of Fortune. And then the Diamond Sword, I like Sharpness 4, Unbreaking 3, I like Looting 3, and I like Fire Aspect, Knockback 2, or Sweeping Edge. It's not bad either. And then for the gear, you want Protection 4 on 2 pieces, Fire Protection 4 on 2 pieces, Unbreaking on all the pieces, and then Feather Falling, Depth Strider, and then Aqua Infinity and Respiration. And then all of that, ideally you want Mending, because that'll allow you to repair your gear. So once you get that perfect set of armor, it's great. You don't need anything else. So if I hit F3 here, we'll be able to see what day I'm on, and it says here I'm on, remember that it says day 83, because a lot of that was AFK time, but in real time I've only been playing on this world probably 4 hours in total, and in that time I'm able to get perfect diamond gear, minus the mending books, which is arguably one of the harder things to get, so that's okay. But now it is time for me to do a little bit more AFKing. I'm going to be AFKing at the fish farm a little bit more overnight, and breeding some cows, farming some more basic resources, and then the next major thing on the agenda is a slime farm, but that's gonna have to wait until the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode of Efficient Minecraft.